Are there animals you should be aware of before visiting Hawaii? Well, in this episode, you'll discover the 5 most dangerous animals in Hawaii that locals know to watch out for, plus 30-second safety tips that will help keep your family safe while enjoying Hawaii. Aloha and welcome to Hawaii's Best. My name is Brian Murphy, and as a husband, dad of 3, and certified Hawaii destination expert, it's my joy to help you discover the best of Hawaii. Here, we often feature local businesses and voices to give you the best travel tips, up-to-date news, and everything you need to plan an unforgettable trip to Hawaii. Aloha, and in this episode, you'll discover the fascinating marine life Hawaii is known for, including a few species to respect from a distance, and why knowing the jellyfish calendar can help save you from an uncomfortable day, and simple awareness tips that will help you fully enjoy Hawaii's beautiful beaches without worry. Welcome to episode 144 of Hawaii's Best. We'll be looking at 5 ocean and land creatures today, while rarely encountered, are good to know about before your trip to Hawaii. And if you've listened to previous episodes of the podcast, you may be wondering why I'm releasing an episode on Monday. Well, happy Monday. I hope the start of your week is going great, whenever you're listening to this. Recently, I put out a survey, and maybe you were one of the people that took that survey, and I just want to say thank you so much for doing that. And nearly half of those who took the survey preferred a Monday episode. So based on that, I'm trying it out for the month of April. 1, to kind of see how it works for me in production and schedule. And 2, based on stats of people who are actually listening on Monday. So for April, I'll be releasing an episode every Monday and on every Thursday. It might be a little too ambitious, but I'd like to get to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. Not sure if that's going to be too much, but see how much energy and content I have for that. Plus, I also produce around 20 other podcasts per week for clients too, which, by the way, shameless plug, if you have a podcast or you're thinking about starting a podcast, I'd love to connect with you. I'll leave a link below in the show notes, actually, where you can schedule a 15-minute call with me to see if I could be a help for you with your podcast. Monday episodes will be more content focused and travel news updates when needed, and will typically be more solo episodes, where Thursdays will be a slightly longer form content episodes with guests. And I'm trying to book more guests for the podcast because that's another thing that people wanted to hear more. They want to hear more guests, and I love guest interviews. I love connecting and meeting guests, and logistically it's just a little bit tougher to align calendars and find guests that are engaging and people that you would want to hear from. So I'm taking all that into account as well. So I'll keep you posted. But speaking of travel news, I wanted to share this with you before we dive into these dangerous animals in Hawaii to be aware of. If you're heading home from Honolulu in the next few weeks, I want to give you a quick heads up. The Hawaii Department of Transportation just issued this past week an advisory about longer wait times at Daniel K. Inouye International Airport. They're experiencing staffing issues with the USDA agricultural inspection station. Starting April 6th, which was just yesterday on Sunday, only 1 agricultural inspection point will be open in Lobby 7 after 8 a.m., with the inspection stand in front of American Airlines will be open from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. In Lobby 8, there will be 1 inspection station after 8 a.m., and the station in front of A&A counters will be closed indefinitely. Lobby 5 inspection stands will open at 8:55, which aligns with the opening of Alaska Airline counters, and all other stations will open at 5 a.m. Bottom line, get to the airport at least another 30-45 minutes earlier than you normally would if you're flying out of Honolulu. This quick planning step will just help you keep your trip even smooth right up into the end of your vacation. Back to today's topic, because no one wants to think about flying home from Hawaii. So back to today's topic, flying to Hawaii, just being aware of these dangerous animals, because Hawaii is one of the safest vacation destinations in the world, but like anywhere with natural beauty, a little awareness goes a long way. So by the end of this episode, you'll have a simple, practical knowledge about what to watch for and when. These easy safety tips take almost no effort, but can prevent the rare uncomfortable encounter that some visitors experience each year. So my goal is just to give you a peace of mind to fully enjoy all the amazing experiences Hawaii has to offer, not cause any additional fear, but just to be able to travel with some more confidence and knowledge, really. All right, number one, no particular order, with the banded marble cone snail. Now, this isn't your typical threat, but it's one that you need to just know about. The snail is small. It's only about 1 to 2 inches long, and it has a beautiful shell, and that's why I kind of wanted to talk about it. It has this cream and brown patterns, and this beautiful shell is exactly what makes it dangerous. Visitors often pick up these as souvenirs without realizing the risk. However, Hawaii records fewer than just 5 confirmed cone snail stings annually, and there have been no documented fatalities in Hawaii's history. But these statistics don't mean we should just ignore them. These snails can inject extremely potent venom through like a harpoon-like tooth. And this venom contains toxins that attack your nervous system. And in severe cases, this can cause respiratory paralysis. I think the real problem really is that most people don't know what they're looking at. These snails look like perfect little treasures on the beach, but over 90% of incidents involve visitors who handle shells without realizing that an animal is still inside. Just remember, don't pick up any shells without checking first. And if you see a cone-shaped shell, just leave it alone, take a picture. I'll link an image to all these animals in the show notes below. If someone does get stung, they'll feel an immediate pain. You'll know you get stung. It's followed by swelling and numbness. Get medical help right away. Most cases require only basic first aid, with fewer than 1 in 10 requiring hospitalization. But most beaches in Hawaii are perfectly safe from this, but just be aware. It goes without saying, but I should say, I'm not a doctor. I don't have a medical degree. I'm not a professional medical person. So always seek professional medical advice and seek medical care to your discretion. Moving on to the next one, tiger sharks. I consider these one of Hawaii's just misunderstood ocean animals, but they deserve our attention and respect. Tiger sharks are to identify with their distinctive brown, gray, and dark vertical stripes along their sides, especially visible on younger sharks. They have a blunt, wide nose and can grow up to 14 feet long in Hawaii. The data shows Hawaii records about 3 to 4 shark bites annually, with tiger sharks responsible for most documented attacks, and that's why I wanted to put them on this list. Despite these numbers, fatal encounters are extremely rare, less than 1 per year on average across all Hawaii's islands. And just to put it in perspective, you're about 1,000 times more likely to need rescue due to drowning than experiencing a shark bite. But with this in mind, I just want to put 3 key safety tips in mind when swimming in Hawaii. First, avoid swimming at dawn, dusk, or night when sharks are most active. The statistics show nearly 60% of incidences occur during these low light periods. Second, stay out of murky water, especially after heavy rain. And third, don't swim if you have an open wound. Sharks can detect even tiny amounts of blood. I'm sure you know this already, but just to be aware of that. Some beaches do post shark warning signs after sightings. I found that local lifeguards are excellent resources for daily conditions. That's why enjoying beaches with staffed lifeguards is always highly recommended. Your chance of an encounter are extremely small, but don't let fear keep you from enjoying Hawaii's beautiful waters. Number 3 on the list, box jellyfish. These are one of Hawaii's most predictable ocean hazards and one of the most painful as well. I've learned exactly what to watch out for and how to avoid them at a higher percentage. Box jellyfish show up on the shores in Hawaii approximately 8 to 10 days after a full moon. This predictable cycle is actually helpful because I can check the calendar before planning ocean activities, and I'll link in the show notes a link to the box jellyfish calendar as well. The Hawaii Department of Health tracks these arrivals, with Waikiki Beach experiencing up to 1,000 jellyfish on peak invasive days. The sting from a box jellyfish is incredibly painful, Many victims describe it as like being branded with a hot iron. The venom causes intense burning, red welts, and in some cases can trigger serious allergic reactions. According to the medical data, Hawaii's hospitals treat between 800 to 1,000 jellyfish stings annually, with most occurring during these predictable jellyfish days. If you or someone is stung, it's recommended to rinse the area with vinegar, not fresh water, which can actually make it worse by triggering more stinging cells. It's also advisable to seek aid as soon as possible. Many beaches do keep vinegar stands specifically for this purpose, but if you don't have vinegar, use ocean water while removing any tentacles with a stick or credit card, never your bare hands. Always check for warning before swimming at any beach. Hanauma Bay, Waikiki, and most popular beaches will post jellyfish warning signs during these peak times. Some beaches might even close completely during major box jellyfish events. But the good news, like I mentioned, if you know the cycle, you can easily plan around it. This one simple planning step has helped me enjoy Hawaii's waters without a single sting across dozens of visits. All right, number 4, Portuguese man-o-war. And I want to be a little clear about something before we get into it. This isn't actually a jellyfish, though many visitors mistake it for one. The Portuguese man-o-war is a colonial organism made up of specialized individual animals working together. You can identify it by its distinctive purple-blue air bladder that floats on the water's surface, and this balloon-like float is typically 3 to 6 inches long, with tentacles that can extend up to 30 feet below. According to Hawaii's ocean safety officials, man-o-war incidents spike during certain seasons, so they're most common on Hawaii shores from December through March, especially during periods of strong onshore winds. These creatures don't swim. They're at the mercy, really, of the wind and currents. So when trade winds blow strongly towards shore, that's when beaches become a little bit more dangerous. So if you're stung, don't rinse with fresh water. Unlike box jellyfish treatment, vinegar is not effective for man-o-war stings. It's recommended rinsing the area with salt water, then carefully removing any visible tentacles with a stick or credit card, never with bare hands. About 84% of sting cases resolve with basic treatment, though pain can persist for several hours. And number 5, the Hawaiian centipede, which these aren't your typical mainland centipedes. The Hawaiian centipede grows up to 8 inches long. They're reddish brown with yellow legs and 2 modified front legs that function as venomous fangs. According to the Hawaii Department of Health, these centipedes are responsible for over 400 reported bites annually across the islands. They prefer dark, damp areas under rocks, logs, mulch, and garden debris. Inside homes, they hide in bathrooms, closets, and laundry piles. About 65% of reported bites occur when visitors reach into areas without looking first or walking around barefoot at night. The pain level from a centipede bite is intense. On the medical pain scale, victims typically rate it between an 8 and a 10, which is out of 10. And the venom causes immediate burning pain, severe swelling, and in some cases, fever and nausea. While rarely life-threatening, the Hawaii Poison Center reports that about 15% of bite victims do seek emergency medical care. I recommend several preventative strategies wherever you're staying. First, always shake out shoes, clothing before putting them on. Keep your luggage off the floor and closed when not in use. And use a flashlight when walking outside at night, especially in garden areas of resorts. If you do get bitten, or someone you know does get bitten, apply a cold pack to reduce swelling. Most symptoms do resolve within 48 hours, but seek medical attention if you develop severe swelling, difficult breathing, or if the pain just doesn't improve within a few hours. A bonus one I want to include are coral cuts. Coral isn't just a pretty marine structure. It's actually a living colony of tiny organisms with a hard calcium carbonate skeleton. This skeleton can be razor sharp and easily cuts through human skin. According to Hawaii's emergency departments, coral cuts are the most common ocean-related injury, with over 1,500 cases requiring medical attention annually. You know, what makes coral cuts uniquely dangerous is the infection risk. When coral cuts you, it doesn't just slice your skin, it leaves behind millions of bacteria and microorganisms. If you do get cut by coral, it's recommended to clean the wound immediately with clean fresh water, not seawater. Studies show that proper immediate cleaning reduces infection by nearly 70%. Remove any visible coral fragments, and once back on land, wash thoroughly. Keep an eye on the wound for signs of infection. According to medical statistics, about 30% of coral injuries in Hawaii develop into what locals call reef disease. It's a condition where the cut swells, reddens, and oozes. So if you notice these symptoms, seek medical attention immediately. It might go without saying, but I just want to say it. Please don't stand on coral and walk across the reef. Hawaii's coral reefs are under threat, with nearly 40% showing significant damage from human contact. So please, as best you can, refrain from touching coral, stepping on coral. It's so beautiful, but it's so vital to Hawaii's ecosystem. All right. So that wraps up the list of 5 potential wildlife hazards. A bonus one for you. If you want a few more animals that I didn't include in today's episode, you can go to the show notes, where I wrote a blog post on the top 9 dangerous animals in Hawaii. You can check that out after this episode. But my goal today wasn't to make you afraid of Hawaii's animals, but quite the opposite. With over 10 million visitors annually, serious wildlife incidents remain extremely rare. Most visitors never encounter any of these creatures, and those who do encounter these animals typically experience only minor discomfort. The simple prevention tips we discussed today take almost no effort. Check the jellyfish calendar before swimming, shake out your shoes before putting them on, give those floating purple bubbles some room in the water, and treat all coral cuts promptly. And if you see a shark, give it space, alert lifeguards. Don't panic, the best you can. But again, that's extremely rare. So if you found today's episode valuable, I just ask you to please hit follow on Apple Podcasts or Spotify so you don't miss the next episode coming up this Thursday, which will feature one of my favorite spots on the east side of Oahu to eat. And I'm going to bring on the owner of that restaurant. So stay tuned for that. Just hit follow and you'll get notified this coming Thursday of that episode. Thanks again for making it all the way to the end. And until next time, as always, live with aloha. Mahalo for listening to this episode of Hawaii's Best. To stay up to date on future episodes, hit follow on your podcast app. Hawaii's Best is a production of Shorebreak Media Group with editing by Easy Podcast Solutions and music courtesy of our friends Stick Figure.